Once there was a village hidden in the lap of the mountains, surrounded by ancient trees and stone paths that remembered footsteps long gone. In this village lived an old man named Haran, whose face carried more silence than words, and whose eyes held the weight of everything he had lost. Years ago, this very village had been full of laughter, of life, of families sharing meals, of children chasing goats, of women filling water pots from the stream. But then came the flood. It did not arrive like a monster with a roar, but like a thief in the night. When the sky broke open and rain fell for days, the river that had once blessed them now swallowed everything they had. Houses turned to mud. Fields vanished. Families were lost, including Haran's wife, his son, and his daughter, who never made it out of the crumbling house. People left the village in pieces, some to nearby towns, some to faraway cities. But Haran stayed, not because he had nowhere to go, but because he believed he had something left to do. He did not speak of rebuilding. He did not ask for help. He simply began walking. Every morning before the sun kissed the hills, Haran would rise with a bag of seeds in one hand and a rusted shovel in the other. He would climb the slopes. At first, he planted trees. They were small and fragile like him, but he planted anyway, one after another. He cleared fallen branches. He dug channels for rainwater. He stacked stones into walls where there had once been fences. No one watched him. No one cared. The few who passed by saw only an old man with a broken back and a quiet face. But the land noticed. The trees began to grow. The birds returned. The soil began to breathe again. Years passed. Seasons came and went. The village remained empty except for Haran and the hills that had become his only companions. One day a boy returned, the son of a couple who had left when he was just a toddler. He had heard stories from his grandfather of a man who never gave up, and when he came, he saw the trees tall now like guardians. He saw the paths cleared of thorns. He saw a single cottage standing with smoke rising from it. The boy sat with Haran that evening. He asked him why. Why stay? Why rebuild what was gone? Haran did not answer immediately. He stared at the fire for a long time, and then he said something the boy never forgot. He said, "I had no one left to bury, only a village left to raise." That moment became the beginning of something new. Word spread slowly. Others began returning. Young people who had never seen their ancestral homes came to visit. Some stayed. They brought tools. They brought livestock. They brought laughter. A school was built again where only silence had lived. A well was dug deeper than before. Fields turned green. Children were born who ran barefoot, just like the ones who had once vanished in the flood. But Haran never changed. He still rose before dawn, still planted, still watched the forest with eyes that had seen both the end and the beginning. He never asked for praise. He never gave speeches. He just lived. Years later, a journalist came. They had heard of the village that rebuilt itself, of the mysterious old man who had never left. They asked him for his story, but Haran gave them nothing but a smile and a walk through the woods. At the end of it, he simply said, "The land was broken, so I healed it." The only way I knew, he passed away one winter night, quietly alone in his small cottage. When the village woke the next morning and found out, they did not cry. They planted a tree in his memory, right in the center of the village square, a tree taller than all the rest. Oh, they called it Haran's tree. Underneath it, children play, couples meet, festivals begin, and stories are told. They say he was not a hero. He was a man who chose to stay when everyone else left. And in that choice, he gave them back their home. Because not all strength is loud, some strength is silent, some strength is steady, and some strength rebuilds entire worlds without ever asking to be seen.